got diagnosed, I couldn't believe it. And I remember thinking, why me?
I was scared to death. Cancer of the throat, I mean. People die from this.
He told me, you've got a brain tumor, and you have about 3 months to live. I literally went into shock.
It was in 2 of my lymph nodes. And once I heard that, I was more convinced that I was going to die.
No one understands what you're going through. Not friends or family, no one. I felt so alone.
And I found that she was someone that I could talk to that knew exactly what I was going through and survived.
From that first conversation, I was able to get something so powerful. Hope.
Despite all the advances that have been made in cancer and its treatment over the years, the diagnosis still impacts people in a very, very devastating way. Patients still fear that they will die when they hear that diagnosis. They still have the uncertainty about what the future holds.
Many of my patients dealing with cancer are very concerned as to what their day-to-day lives will be like. Will I lose my hair? Will I be sick? Can I go out in crowds? How tired will I be? How will I function raising my children? What's available through Cancer Hope Network is by allowing us to take a cancer patient who's newly diagnosed and match them up with a patient who's been through the same exact treatment, the same stage of cancer. By talking one-on-one, privately with that patient, then the newly diagnosed patient will know what to expect with that type of treatment.
The idea was generated by the many, many questions of my patients asking me if there was anyone else going through what they were going through. They just needed to know that someone else had experienced what they were experiencing and had gotten through it.
It was an opportunity to give something back to those in need. I have no problems talking about my cancer or my treatment, and so it was really a really good opportunity, I felt, to do something for others.
The Cancer Hope Network was founded so that all patients with all types of cancer could receive the support they needed. There was nothing out there for them at the time. Cancer Hope Network wouldn't be here today without its volunteers. They are the core of the organization. From the support people who volunteer their time to go out and visit patients, to the many people who organize the functions and events that help bring in the funding that's required to run the organization. And without all of them, and there's over 300 of them, the organization wouldn't be where it is today.
That's a really tough one, but you get used to it and people are just trying to show you that they care.
We have a wonderful group of support volunteers, and these people give of themselves to help make a bad situation better for others. They offer hope as no one else can offer hope.
The process that we use to match a patient with a support volunteer involves, first of all, the patient calling our office. We take a number of criteria from them in order to make an optimum match, and that includes the type of cancer, the treatment that is being prescribed for them, if they're undergoing treatment already, any side effects that they might be experiencing, the stage of the cancer, and any other psychosocial type issues that might be of importance to them.
So I know that when I get a match, it's going to be someone with very similar types of cancer that I had. And the patients know that when they talk to me that they're going to be talking to someone who has a very similar type of cancer, who went through very similar types of treatment. So there's a bond there.
My biggest fear was that I was going to die because I had 2 positive lymph nodes. The person on the other end said, "Hi Liz, this is Edna. I had 17 positive lymph nodes 16 years ago." That's all I had to hear. I mean, she was still alive and she had it worse off than I did, and she was talking to me and bright and cheery and happy, and it was so long ago, and it was wonderful.
The most common way that we receive volunteers is through people that we've helped in the past. A number of patients that call us and that are matched with one of our support volunteers will say, I really want to do this. As soon as I'm well, I'm going to call you and get myself set up for a training.
The training was excellent. It was conveniently located, and they ran through all of the do's and don'ts. Cannot dispense medical advice and ways to protect our privacy.
While concerns vary from patient to patient, there are some universal concerns.
They'll have lots of questions, and instead of giving them medical advice, what I can do is I can tell them to get a little booklet and write all of their questions down, to make sure to bring that booklet with them when they go to the doctor.
What makes the Cancer Hope Network support persons so unique is they can describe what they went through when they had the same treatment in the past. I can describe the side effects, but it's not the same as dealing with a patient who's been through it, who's now a trained support volunteer.
When you're looking in the mirror, when you don't have your wig on, you might feel that way in the beginning.
Initially, we served in our first year probably about 14 patients. We are currently matching and serving over 2,000 patients a year. We now have a staff of 8 people, and we have a staff of support volunteers who are all people that were treated for cancer. That numbers approximately 325 to 350 people.
The sources of funding for the Cancer Hope Network come from several events that are run entirely by volunteers. We have an annual gala, and we have a golf outing. We have a contributions program, and we have corporate funding.
Cancer Hope Network is blessed with corporate support, and we really couldn't survive without it.
Being diagnosed with cancer is one of the worst things that someone could possibly be faced with in a lifetime. And for us to be able to say to everyone that calls us, yes, I have a volunteer, you can literally hear the hope in that patient's voice. That's what we want to continue to offer to each and every person that calls us nationwide.
It's a remarkable ability for our patients to recover from these very difficult treatments of chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery. And when someone is in remission, often our patients say, what can I do to give back? What can I do to help newly diagnosed cancer patients?
I think one thing that I get out of being a volunteer is a sense of, yeah, it happened to me, and I wish it hadn't happened to me, but something good can come out of something bad.
It's incredible when you think about how Cancer Hope Network has evolved over the years from a small group of people in a small corner of an office to now over 300 volunteers and all the people that it serves across the nation. I believe that as long as there is cancer, the organization will continue to grow and evolve because it's needed.
Many times I hear from patients at the end of our conversation that they are so thankful that they have actually talked to someone who's been through this, and they feel that they've been given hope. And my response to them is, well, that's our middle name, Cancer Hope Network.